Well, hello there, my friends. How are you all doing? I hope you've had a great week so far. This is my Friday Eve, if you want to call it, because I'm off tomorrow. I'm super excited. So, if you would, you know the drill. If you would go ahead and share and like and get everybody involved so we can get started. It's going to be a great conversation. We always have good conversations on here. So I got to figure out if I can share it, and it is not letting me share. So y'all go ahead and share while I work on mine. And we're gonna be there in just. Hey, Juliet Carter is already on. Hey, Juliet, how you doing?
Hey, sis in love, love you, sis in love.
Ooh, she's already on, honey. And Danielle, it's not letting me share. Yolanda, how are you doing? Y'all clicking in.
I'm gonna turn up on you.
I'm super excited. Let me figure out and see can I get it on my personal page. Hey, Lawrence Harris and how y'all doing? How you doing? I'm not
Tara Lee. Hey, Terry. Love you, Juliet.
That's her, because I was getting ready to mess that name up.
And my baby.
Tara Lee. That's the oldest niece on the Carter side.
All right. Well, thank you for logging in. If you would share it, have a couple of parties, and because it's not letting me share, so I think it's because Danielle is on and I'm on and too many people are on. But anyway,
that's my brother-in-law. Hey.
All right.
Can they hear us?
Yeah,
they can hear you. We're live. So you all can see the comments on the side. We're going to, let me start the banner, and we'll go back to the comments, and we're going to get started. So thank you all for logging on. Oh, y'all got a big following. Y'all, we got up to 11 already. Come on now, Carters.
Y'all got what we do. This is what we do.
I am so excited tonight to have some very dear friends. So I'm watching from your page. Okay, great. Thank you, Juliet. So some very dear friends. We don't talk every day, but I know that if I need something, they're there. And they know if they need something, I'm there. We just have a bond that when we first met, it's just we've just bonded, and we've been bonded ever since. I remember when I first moved to Atlanta, at that time I was married. And then after I went through my divorce, I met Tanisha. They lived upstairs with me. And at that time, I think baby girl, she was like maybe 6. Malika was maybe 6.
Malika was 6, and Micah wasn't even thought about.
and to tell you, I have been friends with the Carters ever since. I love them dearly. They are my guests tonight, and we're going to talk about the seasons of love. And I told them they're free to share as much or as little as they want to share. Now, one is a little more open than the other, and I'll let you figure out which one it is.
Hey, Jewel.
I want to say to Mr. and Mrs. Carter, you are welcome tonight. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We appreciate this.
I am so excited about our conversation. You're right. When I met you all, it was only one girl. And now it's 3.
Right.
With a baby, with a grandbaby.
Yes, sir.
That's just amazing. And then baby girl is getting ready to get married. What we doing?
We are so excited.
That is fantastic. So I hope her and her fiance are listening in because they're going to get some great tips tonight. I'm sure you all have already poured into them, but they may get something fresh and new tonight. So I'm excited. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to say hello to everybody that's on again. To Melissa, I want to say hello to you, Geraldine and Bridget and Latricia. I want to say good evening, and Latanya and Yami, y'all welcome. Let's go ahead and get started. So tonight we're going to be talking about love and happiness and not so happy times, and how do you maneuver being married? How do you handle, because you're coming from two different worlds and you're supposed to live, as one big happy family, happy ever after with no issues and no consequences, and you just love, how they do it on Leave It to Beaver. If you're old enough to remember the show Leave It to Beaver, the lady was in a dress and stockings every day and met her husband at the door, and the food was already done, and they had the white picket fence, and that's just not reality. That's a TV show.
So it really is.
Yeah.
It is.
Today, I want to talk to some people that's going to give you the real lowdown. And they have made it work for them. And it's not that they have everything right. It's not that they do everything right. It's not that they agree on everything, but they have made a decision to make it work. And I'm excited to have them. But before we get into it, I want to ask you how you're navigating the pandemic.
Well, I have been working from home since March. And if you guys know me, you know that I am a people person. I'm happy-go-lucky. I've gotten used to being in the house, but I will be glad when this pandemic has lifted so I can have some people interaction.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm going to work every day other than when I actually had COVID.
Oh, tell us about that.
COVID whooped my butt. COVID whooped me. But without the grace of God and my wife, I might not have made it. And this woman took care of me.
Wow.
And literally, she kept me out of the hospital.
Wow.
Took care of me. And I'm so grateful for that and thankful for that. But this pandemic has been something else, and I work in a hospital, so it's even more so the chances of catching and all that stuff. But
yeah.
But we good. I got the antibodies, and I'm gonna get the shot and all of that stuff. So we good.
I'm not getting the shot. I did not catch COVID when he had COVID, and I'm marching on God's grace. Hey, Micah.
Well, God gave you wisdom too. That's all I'm saying.
Come on, and ride with that now. Come on.
Oh, thank you, Juliet. Takes one to know one.
So let's get started. Tell us, how did y'all meet?
So I'm gonna tell my story because this story ain't got enough color to it. So I was not even 21. I was actually 19. And
fake ID.
Get out of here. Anyway, my sister was taking me out that night, her and some of her girlfriends. They was all over 21. Anyway, Mike had gotten off of work, and there was this place. We're both from Chicago. So there's this place in Chicago called the Cotton Club. And Michael, he was there with his cousin and his sister, and they had gotten off work. And so I was there with my sister and a couple of her friends. And so he was looking at me cheesecaking from across the room, kept on smiling at me.
Long story short,
he gonna lip sync and say, "You want to dance?" And I say, "Yeah." So that's how we met. We met at the Cotton Club in Chicago, on Michigan.
All right then. So, is that your story, Mike? Are you sticking with that?
Well, she chased me around the club all night. Nah, that's my story. We worked it out. I was quite attracted to her that evening, and I did ask her to dance and got them digits and all that stuff, and we moved on from there.
So how long did you all date before you decided to get married? Some people say you got to date years. Some people say once you know it, honey, let's just go on and do it. How long did you all date?
We dated for a long time, and it was a whole lot of things that went on in between the time we met and the time we got married. So we're going to skip past that. But I will tell you this. We got married when Malika was 7.
Okay. So
hey, Phil, nephew.
Talk about that. So what made you decide, okay, it's time for us to get married?
We had some conversations about it, and actually Mike had taken a job here in Georgia, and we had some conversations that resulted in me coming to Georgia, and 9 months after Malika and I got here, we got married.
Wow.
We just decided it was time, stop playing and go ahead and make a move for it, and we got married. It was cool.
Okay. So you all, let me tell you, you can go ahead and put in questions. I didn't tell you that. You can go ahead and type in some questions and I will ask those throughout our time of sharing. And don't wait till the last minute because we're not going to be on here all night. You know, I don't take long. We hit it and quit it and move on.
That's
So
right.
let me ask you something. So during that time, during your courtship, when did you know that this is the one for me?
So I will tell you, from my perspective, I was so in love and smitten with Michael that, whenever he smiled the cheesecake in my face, he had my attention.
Well, and I'll second that to some degree, but I think we played around long enough, moved around. We were living in different cities, and kept leaving each other, coming back to each other, and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, we both understood and knew that we were for each other, and I know I did, and we finally went on and made that move.
So the one of the questions from your daughter says, "How did you all propose? How did you propose? Did you propose, or did you propose to me?"
Girl, he proposed to me. Hey, Billy and Sheila.
I'm pretty sure I proposed. Don't remember though. Sorry about that.
Okay, so we talked about marriage a whole lot prior to me moving to Georgia. And once I got here, he did officially ask me. But we talked about marriage and then we made it happen.
So were there any red flags that you had going into the marriage that you were concerned about?
You know what? I honestly want to say that when you are in love with someone, you don't always pay attention to red flags. So, no, not really. You don't pay attention to those red
There were some
flags.
red flags. There were some red flags.
But you think that you can overcome those red
She
flags.
you about to beat some people up. That's what it was.
Not.
No.
He
So
probably
somebody
beat somebody up.
somebody said, "How do you keep the love?
Go ahead.
How do you keep the love alive?"
Um,
Well, how do we keep the love alive?
we genuinely like each other.
You know what? And we have a story, and some people might not know our story, but our story is that we were married. We actually got divorced for 3 years, and we were divorced for 3 years, and then we got back together and got remarried.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much: the second time around has been amazing. Amazing. We have become the best of friends.
Yeah.
We've become I had somebody tell me this one time before we got remarried, that they knew it was going to be something going on every time we all got together. Something was going to happen, and Mike and Tunisia going to get into it. That doesn't happen anymore.
Wow.
Now we seeing them get into it.
So do you mind starting at the beginning and telling us how it happened, what happened? And you said
Talk about as far as us going through a divorce.
Yeah. Somebody said, "Can you tell the story? Start at the beginning."
Well, let me tell you something.
I'm a better storyteller than you, baby. Okay, I'll let you go first.
Get the second.
Okay.
Well, of course we got married. Our oldest daughter was 7 once we got married. We both moved to Georgia, and we got married. We bought our first house, moved out to Conyers, and this, that, and the other. Had another baby and all of that stuff, and I was working for a company that went kind of belly up, and I got into a business, and I owned a bar. I was a co-owner in a bar, and woo, I was wilding out, acting a fool, and just doing stupid stuff that I didn't have no business doing.
Oh, he want to tell that version.
And then, and then at the end of the day, she was like, "I ain't got to keep putting up with this mess." Wow. And as much as I hate to say it, she did what she should have done, because I wasn't acting right.
So let me just say this.
Wow.
Can I add something to what he said? Sure. So as a woman and a mother, I knew that I had 3 daughters, and when you think your kids aren't paying attention, they are paying attention. And
Yeah.
so my girls were watching, and I was like, I cannot allow this man to disrespect me, to disrespect our house, and my girls are watching because they will think that that's how marriage is supposed to be. So, of course, before we even got divorced, we were in trouble like a couple of years prior to that. And I told Mike, I said, you know how you keep on promising that you're gonna leave, but I tell you, it was one particular incident that happened that I just had to let the rope go, and I knew that I had to save me, my sanity, and all of that. So, and I knew that my girls were watching. So that's the reason why I made a decision, and we decided to go our separate ways. And we actually ended up separating for a while, getting back together, separating again. And then, finally I decided, okay, look, we're just going to move forward on the divorce. And that's how it happened. But I will tell you this. Our love is strong. We really do love each other. And I'll say that when you love somebody, there are things that you're going to do to make a change. And I think us divorcing and going our separate ways was the thing that made us both stop and think and say, what do I need to do differently for us to come back together? And honestly, guys, when we divorced, I was not thinking about Mike, and I never in my mind imagined that we would get back together. But Mike said he had a mission and a goal, and it was to get his boo thing back.
Whatever. and I did.
And he did.
Let me say, we commend you for even sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think you said something that was recorded. It says, I had to let the rope go and save myself. Sometimes people hold on to things, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a job, and it's not healthy for them. I tell the story about when I was working at a job. I've been there 18 years. I finally made directorship. I was finally making 6 figures, but I was working 12 and 15 hours a day. My blood pressure was up. It just was not a healthy environment. And I had to finally say to myself, you are killing yourself for $1. And I had to finally say, it's time to go.
That's right.
And I had to make the decision, what's best for me, either my health or you're gonna make this money, you won't even be able to spend it because you're gonna be dead. So I made the decision, and now it was one of the best decisions I have ever made.
Agreed.
Life. And so sometimes you have to do that. Anthony says, I'm so happy you all got remarried. Amazing individuals, amazing couple, amazing kids. So y'all got
love you, brother-in-law.
Y'all got your own cheerleading section up in here.
But it has been amazing. I always tell people, and we talk about it the second time around. Believe is better than the first time.
Absolutely.
We have had so much fun together and learned to deal with each other on a different level, with no disrespecting each other and just compromising with each other.
Absolutely.
And God knew what he was doing, and I give him all the credit, because there's no way on earth I would have figured this thing out.
Right.
We'd be out here lost in the wilderness if it was up to me. But I'm so grateful to God that he was able to pull us back together. And like I said, it ain't a bed of roses every day. It ain't like we don't have issues that we have to overcome, but that's exactly what we do. We have issues and we overcome them. But we have more good days than we do bad days.
Right.
A whole lot more.
Right.
So the issues don't even show up like they used to.
Right.
So.
And you have to, marriage is not easy. So anybody out there that's married knows that marriage is not easy. It's something that you have to commit to. You have to decide that this is what I'm going to do. You have to communicate. You have to choose your partner and say that this is till death do us part. I mean it.
Hey, listen, anything worth having is worth fighting for.
You have to work.
Man, y'all preaching up in here.
Look, we're going to pass the plate in a minute. Cash apps.
Well, that is amazing. You have to choose your partner. You have to make a decision that I want this. And you said earlier about compromise. You can't always get your way. That is absolutely amazing. And that's with any relationship.
Right.
Somebody said, did you all receive any counseling, not the church counseling, like professional counseling? Was that
Absolutely.
Yes, we did. And actually, let me tell you guys, the first counseling that we received was through our church. And it was after we did counseling before we remarried, but we also did family counseling after we remarried because we had some family issues after we got back together, and it was more so the kids.
Yeah.
You know,
adjusting.
And so it was an adjustment because they was used to it just being me and them. And Daddy came in first. He was their best friend when we went together.
Right.
We got back together, and he started putting down the law and saying, "No, you can't do this." He was a yes man when we went together because he wanted to be the best daddy ever, you know. And so the kids noticed the change, and so first it was like they was dividing and conquering, and then we got counseling from an outside counselor. We tried to go through the church, but that just didn't do it. So we got somebody that didn't know us, and they could like look at us objectively and tell us what the problem was. And I will tell you that the whole family went through this counseling. She met with Mike by himself, me by myself. She met with all of the girls by themselves, and then we all met as a family, and we got through it. And Miss Michaels is amazing. I have referred her to so many couples, but she really helped us through because I thought I was going to divorce us but a second time. But let me tell y'all, it wasn't even about him. It was the kids trying to tear us apart. So the one thing that our counselor told us, and I'm telling all of you married couples out there that are listening, this is team one right here.
That's right. We are united front.
We team one. Even if I don't disagree with what he's talking about or what he's saying, I'm going to tell him when we go upstairs to our room that I don't agree, and I'm going to tell him quietly, and he going to do the same for me. But when the kids is trying to go up against us, because they start doing that when they get older, you're going to tell them that we team one, and whatever your daddy said or whatever your mama said is what's going down.
Yes, yo, this is good. Oh my God, honey, I don't know who Michael is. I mean, Anthony is, but honey, he.
That's my brother.
Our brother in love.
yeah, that's my dude.
He said, Michael Carter is my hero, amazing husband, father, son, and brother.
Thank you, bro.
So, not to be outdone, because he said Tunisia Carter is the real deal. If you didn't know, now you know, but I can't find it. But he said it. He said you the real deal. Tunisia Hanson Carter is amazing. She is fearless, strong, and beautiful. If you didn't know, now you know.
Thank you, Anthony. I love you, brother-in-law.
What up, Big Red, man? Appreciate them words, Red.
Yeah.
You saying that you all are team one. And it sounds like you all are a unified front. That's what you want for your children.
That's right. And as they get older, it has to be demonstrated. We have to show them that.
Yeah, and we're definitely demonstrating that. And you know what? Our kids went through an adjustment because they was like, y'all can't get up against us. They didn't like it. You know, when we finally got it that we team one, we can't let them come between us.
Yes.
They will try you. Trust me.
That is absolutely amazing. And that's good information. So talk a little bit about how did you all know after when you got married the second time? How did you know, or have you reached that where you are one yet?
Oh yeah, we're definitely one.
Definitely.
How did you know when that happened?
I think that honestly, it happened after we did that outside counseling. That really, she kind of brought it home for us. I think we were trying to get there, but that outside counselor that we worked with, Miss Michaels, she is the one that helped us see it. She helped me see the flaws that I was bringing to the relationship. She helped him see the flaws that he was bringing. And she, like the one thing that she had to drive home was that this is our marriage.
Right.
And our kids don't have no say so in what goes on in our marriage.
That's right.
Wow.
I would add to that that any of the couples out here listening, if you're struggling with something, seek some counseling, some
Mhm.
independent counseling, not your church or this somebody that know your in-laws, your parents or whatever.
Right.
Seek counseling. I'm an advocate for it. I believe mental health is real,
Yeah.
and it works. I promise you. We are advocates, and we're living proof that it works. So if
Yeah.
you're out here alone, just like if you had an ailment and your back was hurting or you had your kidneys was bad, you go to the doctor. If you need some help in your marriage, go seek some counseling, because
Absolutely.
I know for a fact, without God first and counseling second, and then just some understanding between the two of us and some
Hmm.
compromising between the two of us, this is why it's working. This is why it's working. We used to be the laughing stock of our friends. We used to be the laughing stock.
No, we
People,
weren't.
we were
Not our
we were the
friends.
group that people would say they gonna be arguing before the night's over.
So
We
we
are
have
no
a
longer that.
brother-in-law that said
Don't say
that
that. Don't say
it was none of our
that.
friends because we knew how to act in front of our friends, babe.
Don't tell
So,
I'm
people.
sorry. I shouldn't call my brother-in-law out, but it was really I didn't say which brother-in-law. I got a whole bunch of them. But if he on here, he know who he
He
is.
is on
let me tell you, but you know what? You all are giving such good advice. And I am a therapist, and I say to people, baby, if you're going through a hard time, get some additional support. And just like you said, Mike, just like when I went through cancer, I went to see an oncologist. If
That's
I
right.
got something going on up here that I can't figure out, I
Mhm.
need to go get some help for it.
That's
I
right.
mean, you can't say that whatever happens in this house stays in this house. That's crazy, and it's gonna drive you crazy.
And it's
If
gonna tear
you
you
need,
apart.
yes, yes, counseling is vital. As one of my nieces would say, everybody need a therapist and God.
That's right.
Yes.
God and a therapist.
Yes,
Let's go.
yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Wow, this is so good. This is not even going the way I thought it was going to go.
Just
But
go
it's
with
so
love.
good. It is so, and y'all, we're already at the 7:30. We're 7:27. So if you all got questions, y'all need to go ahead and put them in, because 30 minutes goes pretty fast. And we're ending at 8 o'clock because
I-
Mike hadn't had any dinner yet. He said he just got home from work.
That's
So,
right.
I'm Miss Carter, Miss Camerla Carter. I'm not pronouncing it right.
Cameron.
That's Cameron. That's Cameron, our
That's her
nephew.
nephew. Hey, nephew.
He says, I agree. Lauren and I have been counseling for months. We thought it was better to get counseling before there is trouble rather than waiting for when it happens.
Amen. 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 Smart man, brother.
Amen.
Nephew, that's smart talk, man.
Yes,
So
yes,
get some help if you need it, and even if you don't, so that you know you
Right.
understand what it is. Because you know some of the stuff we were raised up on.
yes.
I'm the boss and I run this and all that. Come on, that ain't the way this thing goes nowadays. Them folks will
Honestly.
lock you up for that.
Right. It takes it
I
literally.
can run around here. Y'all are preaching tonight. Hey, somebody said, what's the hardest part for you about becoming team one?
What was the hardest part? It wasn't the hardest part. We evolved to that. And I think going through all of the things that we went through, um, and then seeking counseling helped us get to that. It's something that we always wanted. I think we went into it with that mindset, but then life happens, kids happen, you get
Yeah.
all of these obstacles in your marriage. And okay, Mike wants to add to that.
And well, the hardest part for me, and I'll say the hardest part would be you love your children, and we love our children. We don't ever want to come between them or go against them, but we had to figure out y'all can't run this.
Yeah.
We're in charge of this, and we're going to run this, and we're going to be a united front. So when we had to go against our children, that was hard. But once they got the understanding, and we all got the understanding that we're team one, and y'all gonna ride with us or either against us. And if you ride against us, you're going to go. But but I think that was the hardest part of it, was just saying I don't want to go, I don't want to fight my children either, But if they're ganging up against us or trying to pit us against each other, no, that ain't happening. So that to me was probably the hardest part. Thanks for the question, whoever asked it.
Yeah. How do you all resolve conflict in your marriage now?
Compromise.
Compromise is a very good word.
We fight healthy. Like, he's still an individual and he's entitled to his opinion, just like I'm entitled to mine. And I think it's like how we deliver it. And sometimes we have to agree to disagree.
Right. And respectfully, there's no disrespect in our disagreements. I would never call her out of her name or say something disrespectful to her because I disagree with what she said. So, and that changed since we've been back together. So, so we learned to do this respectfully and honorably, and then I just let her win. And pretty much, she wanted, she can have it.
There you go. Happy wife, happy life.
Happy spouse, happy house.
You say that, but really it's happy wife, happy life.
And I don't have a problem with that because I am a man and I'm the bigger man. You can win all you want to. It don't matter to me.
You know what? I'll just say this, and this is like referring to the Bible, how the Bible says that your husband is the leader and you should follow him. But I will tell you this, if that husband is doing everything that he's supposed to do and he is making his wife happy, then the house is going to be happy. Period.
Amen.
And she is going to be submissive to her man.
Yeah.
She's doing all of the things to make her happy, then she gonna submit.
Submit
is not an ugly word. All right.
It's not an ugly word. If you're making your wife happy,
it is.
What you need, baby?
That's right. It's not ugly. But this compromise is probably the best way to put that.
So Micah, our daughter, wants to know, do we still attend counseling? We have not been in a while. But actually, we had revisited that and felt like we should. We should kind of check in with Miss Michaels. And as a matter of fact, Michael lost his brother a couple of weeks ago. And Miss Michaels found out that he had lost his brother. And she reached out to us and asked us, did we want grief counseling? And we respectfully declined. But I did tell her that I was going to call her and just do a check-in with her, that we wanted to check in with her.
So do you all do a check-in with each other when times are good, just to see how the other one is feeling?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a daily thing.
Yeah.
Several times a day, we definitely check on each other, talk to each other, and question, how you doing? How's your day been? We have a very open line of communication with one another.
That's fantastic. That's Elizabeth Trotman. Thank you for joining tonight. Devonna Moss, thank you for joining. I'm so happy that you all are on.
That's fam, my sister and my cousin.
Y'all got a big following. Hey, where are the questions, y'all? I thought y'all were supposed to be submitting some questions. So would you say that one of the questions I didn't ask and I wanted to ask, would you say that the children added to the conflict, or the conflict was already there in your marriage?
I think initially the conflict was there. They were subject to that conflict, so it just built around them. As things changed, so did they. For the most part.
And I will say that, like, early on, the conflict definitely was between me and Michael. And then, out of protection of our kids, we went our separate ways. But when we came back together, the kids was used to things being a certain way. And so they kind of rebelled or, had opinion. And that comes with kids getting older. They start thinking on their own. And kids are people too. They have their own thoughts. So you have to respect the position that they're in too. But when it gets disrespectful, especially if they're grown, then they need to get about your house.
Right. I like the fact that you all said that when you did counseling, it was the whole family. I'm just so impressed with that, because a lot of people think that, sometimes people think that children need to sit down, shut up, and it's grown folks' business. And it's not, because like you said, children are people, children are human, children have opinions, children have and they go through stuff just like we do.
That's right.
Absolutely. And you know what, I'll tell you, Sonya, I work for this nonprofit, and they have these core values that we impart on the young adults that come through the program that I work for. And I will tell you, working for this organization, it helped me be a better wife, a better mother, because I was looking at those core values every day. And even it helped me be a better listener, especially with my kids. Like, because I'm listening to these young people with problems every day. And so I was like, well, I need to listen to my kids too. So I started listening, and my girls will say that, like, if there's a conflict that arises, that I do listen. I listen to whatever the issue is. Now, I may have an opinion after they share with me the issue that they have, but I listen to them because I want to understand, what are you going through? Whereas sometimes Mike has this old school mentality, right, babe? Come on.
Depends on what you're gonna say.
No, I'm just saying he has an old school mentality of, like, do what I say, or
I don't know that it's straight up do as I say, but by that same token, I mean, we running this. I mean, if you don't like it, especially at this point, things are getting where you guys are getting older and becoming adults. It can't be too many bosses up in here.
Right.
So, and mama the boss, so.
Right, but I just think because I have worked with troubled youth, I do want to listen to my kids and hear and try to problem solve, what they might be going through.
So in raising your kids, who was the disciplinarian?
Girl, me. Hands down.
And part of the reason is that we raised 3 girls. We have our 3 girls, plus we have an additional 3 bonus children in our lives. So, but we raised 3 girls, and I kind of been on this thing about ain't no man got no reason, no right to put their hands on you. Okay. I will say that I have not had to spank or discipline one or 2 times in their lives, but that's been my thinking, is that so she's and there hasn't been a whole lot of corporal punishment around here.
Because let me tell you, I could probably count on 10 fingers. My kids have got less than 10 whippings in their whole life, because that wasn't my style. My parents we used to get whippings from my mama, so I learned early on I didn't like whippings. I don't want to be hit. So I never took that with disciplining my kids. Now, my kids will tell you that my mouth could get reckless when they was acting crazy. But they could tell you how many times I hit them, and it wasn't many. And, so, I'll just go with that. I saw a question here. Danielle said, how do you maintain your sense of self and individuality? And Danielle, I just want to say that when I first met Michael's like 4.5 years older than me. I was very submissive to him. Whatever he said went, whether I was happy or not. But I will tell you that in our breakup, I told you how I found myself and how I matured and how I grew up. And I really grew into a woman. And so I just realized that I didn't have to change myself, and I could express the feelings that I had without penalty. I could express how I felt, and if I wanted to do something, or if I didn't want to do something, I didn't have to do it. And so even now, Michael respects the fact that, if I want to do something and he don't want to do it, he's okay. He's like, okay, I'll see you later.
and I respect her decision just as she respects mine. And there are a lot of times she's got really good girlfriends and her sister and all that stuff. They like to go hang out. Hey, man, do you. I ain't got to tag along with you because, for number one, I trust you.
Wow.
And I ain't worried about what's going on out there or wherever you at. I trust you. So, And same for me. I don't do a whole lot as I continue to get older. I go to work and come home for the most part, but I'm still have my individual things that
Yeah.
I like to do, and so we get along well with that. Not a
How do
problem.
you get the sparks in your marriage?
We still date each other.
Wow.
Every once in a while. No, we still. I think our spark is that there is some genuine love here,
Hmm.
and we
He does sweet things. He buys me flowers. He always tell me he loves me. He be touching me freaky.
stop.
That question came from your daughter.
I know. I can't stand.
So Melissa says, what do you love about each other, and what do you do to have fun together?
Um, we live, and I'll say that we like to dance and stuff, so we do go dancing at times. We do that Chicago stepping thing, so that's part of our fun. We do dates. We hang out with our brother, with her sister and our brother-in-law, and
Play
we
cards.
play cards,
We have dinner sometime.
and we travel,
And,
and
and a simple thing that we do is we will decide that we're gonna sit on the couch and look at a movie together.
so we watch movies, and so we spend our quality time together. Nightly we do something together, and even if it's just watching TV, or we have dinner together most nights. So yeah.
Wow. So someone says, how do you feel about married couples living their lives separately? I've seen seen a number of successful examples.
I have no clue what that is.
Yeah,
It don't
me
make sense to
either.
me.
I don't know if
If
you mean
if you
sleeping
married,
in
you sleep in the same bed in my
right.
book.
We
But that's
sleep in
me.
the same bed
That's just
now.
me.
When he had COVID,
That's a whole
I
different
moved
story.
down the hall, and I will say that during that time, I got some really good
You said
sleep.
that
And
already.
I had no, that was before the call, babe. I said that. And before, when I moved back down the hall, after he got well and everything, it was like noises I'm sensitive to.
Well, okay. So how do you maintain your sense of self and individuality while married?
I think we answered
Oh,
that
yeah,
already, didn't
we answered that already.
Did
Um,
we?
we? Yeah, Danielle
yeah,
asked that question, didn't
we
she?
are
Okay.
individuals.
Okay, here's another one from Jewel. Jewel, I'm a recent empty nester, and I'm wondering, what do you all do with access time you now have? I'm navigating and missing my kids. Tanisha, did you experience this?
Absolutely
She
not.
come home
I
every
was happy
weekend.
they was gone.
No,
But
the one that's gone that's away in college, she comes home just about every other weekend. So we don't get an opportunity to miss her.
yeah, and
And
then we talk to the kids
we
daily, like
Zoom. Yeah.
FaceTime, so they don't give us a chance to miss them.
Look, and when we don't have them, we got the grandbaby over here, so she running the house. So we haven't really had a chance to miss them. Of course, we're concerned about them. We
Yeah,
worry. I mean, not
we
necessarily
call and
worry, but
check
we
on
pray for them every day. And but
them.
I'm excited to watch them grow,
Me
and
too.
to become,
Individuals.
yeah, and doing their own thing. So nah.
Now,
We
and look, we like sitting on the couch with a quiet, clean house. We ain't
look
cleaning up after nobody.
chase each other around the house and all that stuff. We like that.
Okay, so your daughter has another question. She
Oh
all up
my
in
gosh.
She
Got
says,
some more.
what kind of dates do you all go on?
We talked about that. We look at movies, we go to dinner, we
We
go
go to
play
the
cards
movies,
with
yeah.
my sister-in-law and brother-in-law.
Pre-COVID, we go
Look,
dancing, and
sometimes on Saturday morning we stay in the bed extra late,
that's a
So
date.
yes.
Somebody said, not touching me freaky.
Yeah, that.
Just like that. Y'all are silly. I
Somebody
love all of y'all on this call, though, for real.
I was thinking about the final. I'm finna touch me freaky. Oh, Lord.
Lord, who is that? Who is that?
So somebody said I got two grandkids. No, I got two grandkids. Y'all can have anytime y'all need more. Um,
we really like.
responsible.
Honestly, we really do enjoy our alone time. Seriously.
Yeah.
So
It's fun. It's fun to wake up and nobody, including that grandbabies, in here. So
nobody here. Like we like for real enjoy
it
our
feels like a
quiet time.
graduation, like we've graduated to that next level. So
Right. And let me tell you guys, as you Jewel, you and Ron better cling to each other like me and Mike clinging, because this is our second wave.
we're going to that new way. Look. So
Wow, that is fantastic. Y'all have any more questions? We got about 15 minutes. Is this time going about fast or what? Or is it just me? It goes by
wow.
fast.
I didn't think we had an hour worth of content. First of all.
I told you. So what advice would you give someone that's thinking about popping the question?
We talked about this earlier today, and my advice to somebody that's looking to pop the question would be, first of all, get to know one another. Get to know one another. 3 weeks, a month, a couple of months, just ain't enough time, because this is a life-changing event that you're going to do once you get married. I know my nephew and his newlywed bride are on here, and they've been dating each other for a bunch of years, as far as I know. Isn't that correct?
I don't know.
I think they've been on there for a long. They've been dating for a while, and I'm just so happy to see them continue to grow. They just got married this year, so again, my thing would be definitely get to know one another, because yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so he said get to know, but I know you mentioned something about red flags earlier. If you see is something that you don't like, oh, Juliet said Cam and Lauren been together for 3 years, and that's good. Get to know each other, and then if you see red flags or things that you don't like, talk about them in a respectful manner. I know the one misconception that dating couples have is that, oh, if we just get married, I can change this person. That is not true. What you see is what you get, and so you have to decide if you're going to live with that and deal with that. And, if it's something that you feel like you can't live with, you probably shouldn't marry that person. But if it's something that you feel you could, then it's probably something that you all should have a conversation about.
That's great information. That's great. Y'all better write this stuff down, because they're speaking truth. They're speaking wisdom. I hope you're gathering this. Hey, Elizabeth wants to know, what are your favorite qualities about each other?
So Mike, he makes me smile. He is like always happy, and he says happy things, and he is thoughtful. Let me tell you how thoughtful my husband is. Like, we've been together for a long time. I met Mike when I was 19. I'm 53 now, so it's been a whole bunch of years. But even in our roughest times that we were going through, and there's one time that really speaks out in my mind is when we were on the verge of separation, and we had an anniversary. And even though me and Mike was mad at each other and we weren't talking, he was thoughtful. He went to the bus station where I parked my car to go down to the parking ride. He put our anniversary card in my car with a bouquet of roses. So even during our toughest times, my husband is thoughtful. For my birthday, for Mother's Day, for Christmas, he's a very thoughtful man, and he puts thought into everything that he does for me, like if he's doing something for me. So that's what I love about him.
Thank you. You're welcome. Well, I love the fact that she's a nurturer. Again, like when I went through this COVID, I don't know that I could have taken care of her the way that she took care of me. It was just amazing the way she actually took care of me, and that's how it's been our whole relationship. She is a nurturer. She takes care of those that she loves. So that's probably one of the things I love about her most. And then she's just fine.
Period.
Period.
Another question that says, can you have a second wave while you have the children?
Yes.
In the house.
Yes.
Can we have what?
Hell, we got one at home right now, and yes, we do. And they talk about us when my husband be getting up on me and kissing me and stuff. And
Hey, Sonya, can you see the question that Lavelle asked? I don't see it anymore, but bring that question back up.
Was it hard to let go of mutual friends that had a cancerous effect on your marriage? Lavelle
Uh,
asked that question.
no, it wasn't hard, but it was necessary. It was definitely
Wow.
necessary. We had a conversation earlier today about it. It kind of went back to the thing about what advice would we give to newlywed couples, and not necessarily single friends or whatever, but cancerous or bad relationship, people that don't have your best interest. You got to cut that off at the head, and really, because it's going to do nothing but bring you down. If it ain't good for y'all, it ain't good for me or us. That's what
Wow.
So you
Yeah.
gotta learn how to separate those things. If you ain't about us, you ain't about me. Yeah, it ain't no separation in there. So that I absolutely cut them off at the head and
right,
have no shame about it.
right. So I see Liz has a question. I'm going to your last question, Liz. It says, "What do you appreciate more the second time around?" And I will say that when you love yourself,
Mhm.
you have to love yourself and resolve all of the conflict within yourself. If you can love yourself and resolve all of the conflict within you, then you're gonna radiate happiness on whoever you touch. And so if you're happy as an individual, then you're
Mhm.
gonna bring happiness to each other. You're gonna attract the happiness.
And I'll say to that is when you stop hating yourself, it's
Wow.
easier for you to love other people. And I think that was part of the problem that I had in the beginning, was that I hated myself. I wasn't loving me like I should have, so I could not love anybody else.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Y'all need to be marriage counselors. Um,
We're taking folks on. Come on, let's have a
you
conversation.
know what? When I do from now on, when somebody comes to me and they want to do a wedding and they haven't had marriage counseling, I'm sending them to y'all. So another question is, what have you learned from other couples? Liz asked that question as well.
Uh,
Well, so you learn what you see. So Mike, he said something about, like, seriously, it was my brother-in-law who would say every time we were around them, we were comfortable with my brother-in-law and my sister. And so yeah, they did see the raw side of us. But nobody else knew we was having issues because we knew how to behave in public. But what was the question?
The question
you
is,
learn from other
have you
couples,
learned from other couples?
Um,
not to get in their business and not let them
right.
in ours.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep your business to yourself. Now you can have a healthy
Yeah.
conversation with other couples about something that you might be experiencing in your marriage, but really,
I mean, but there's something we all have to give to each other. In all seriousness, um, if each one teach one, we become better as one. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I think there's something that we all have to share, but we have to learn to get rid of that negative
Mhm,
Hmm.
and receive the positive.
mhm,
Because like Lavelle asked before, there's some cancerous out there. There's some
mhm.
cancers out there that we don't need in our lives. So if we
Hmm.
can learn to separate those things, I mean, all of the couples around me that today, I love what you all do. And we learn something from them, they learn something from us. So yeah.
Juliet says you're a wise man.
Thank you, Juliet. I love you.
So, we only have a few minutes left, unless there's some other questions. Can you believe it? What advice would you give a couple that we haven't talked about? But before we answer that, tell me, how is your relationship? How has the Bible, how has Jesus, how has a personal relationship with God impacted your relationship?
Well,
I think that so I'm spiritual. And
Mhm.
so I feel like if I'm happy within myself and I do have a relationship with God, having a relationship with God creates a conscience. for wanting to do the right thing.
That's right.
And so when you're spiritual or you have a relationship with God, you want to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing when it comes to my husband.
There's a level of responsibility
Yeah.
to God and to my family, and having that level of responsibility is what makes it all work. I feel responsible for all the goodness that God has given me, and to giving me back my wife. I owe that to him. So yeah, there is some responsibility in that, and I can't take that for granted.
Wow, that's amazing. Y'all have been absolutely amazing tonight. Hey, I owe y'all dinner.
Hey, we coming to get it too.
Hey, Zoe says y'all sound like marriage coaches.
Oh, okay, we can bring. Let's
We
bring
might
it
be.
on.
Let's
Let's
get
start
together.
a group.
Look, if each one teach one, we all be better.
Yeah,
And that's real. I think we all have something to share.
you get better, trial and error, but we got there. We're in our happy spot, our sweet spot.
That's
This,
right.
as somebody said, this is good stuff. Good stuff. So in your final,
Thanks,
what?
Tina. That's our cousin.
All right. What would you say? What additional advice that we haven't covered? What would you like to share with the married couples or those that are thinking about getting married?
Just put her first.
Mm.
All the men out there, put her first in all things. I'm telling you, before you go hang with your boys, before you go do any of these other things, consider her first.
Wow.
And it will change your life. It's amazing when you consider her first, even if it's nothing more than a phone call. Babe, I'm about to go stop, hang out with the boys for a minute. That's putting her first.
Yeah.
Cook dinner. All right, bruh, I'll holler at y'all next time. I'm going home.
Wow.
Just putting her first will make an amazing change in your life.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And like I said, it helps me submit. So if he's thinking about me and he's considering me, even if he's stopping off to the store on the way home and he say, "Babe, you need something?" He know I love ice cream. He bring my ice cream.
Wow.
Yeah, just and if
considerate.
he's making me happy and he's being considerate, it makes me want to give him the same thing.
That's amazing. That's, oh man, y'all make me want to get married again.
Go ahead.
You all, thank you so much. I didn't introduce myself at the beginning. I'm Sonya Cruel. I'm the transition coach. I talk about everything as it relates to transition, whether you're an empty nester, someone in your life has died and you need to transition, whether you're going off to college, you're graduated from college, you're retiring, all of those things deal with transition. You're trying to figure out how to get to your next space. So that's what I do. I am a licensed clinical social worker by profession. So we're here every other Thursday talking about some aspect of transition. I've written a couple of books. One's called Divorce in the Upper Room, and the other one is called Transition from Then to Now to Next. And I talk about transition in both of those books. So in the transition from then to next, we really deal with dealing with your emotions, dealing with forgiveness, moving forward, making lists. So we do all of that. So if you have questions or if you want more information, please feel free to go to my website. I have all of that there for you. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at STC Riley and all things on social media. I'm STC Riley, and I have a Facebook page, which is Sonya T Cruel. I would love for you to follow me, love to hear your feedback. Even I'm open to, if you have suggestions about topics for transition that you want to hear, I would be happy to hear from you. You can always check me out on my YouTube page, which is Sonya T Cruel. We have the previous shows that we have there talking about all aspects of transition. I would encourage you to go out and check it out. We have some great conversations from when a lady lost her daughter to people that were locked up in prison, and now that they're out and they're trying to navigate all of that. So I would encourage you to take a listen. Hey, I am so honored, Carters.
Thank
This has
so
been
much.
fantastic.
This has been absolutely fabulous. I love this. This was fun.
It was. Thank you, Chris. I'm glad that we're your favorite couple now.
Yeah.
We're not the fighting couple that we used to be.
Listen, I love all of my family and friends that are out there that commented and you guys. I appreciate the
Yeah.
love that y'all
Thank you
show.
for the love
I
and
love
support.
what y'all see in us, and I really do appreciate it. Sonya, Danielle, Brandon, all of y'all. I
Thank you for
love you
having us
all
on
so
your
much, and
show.
thank you so much.
Yeah, this
We'll
was
come back
awesome.
anytime.
I so love you guys. You're just a part of my family. You just
Yes.
forever. Forever. Death do us part. All right, you all, Mike and Tanisha, y'all hang on, and then I'm going to end the Facebook Live. Hey, this has been fantastic, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I would encourage you to look out for the next conversation because I don't even remember what it is, but we'll have something great in a couple of weeks. All right, you guys, y'all be safe and wear your freaking mask.
Love
That's
you.
right. Love y'all. Thank y'all.
Bye, y'all.